Hello, my name is Clive Johnson. I'm the President, CEO, Director, and one of the founders of B2Gold Corporation. Thanks for taking the time to listen to my brief presentation today. I'm going to give you an overview of B2Gold. We had a record year of production in 2020 and are looking at very strong production going forward, low-cost production going forward, and a lot of growth opportunities. So I'm excited to update you on our progress. This slide is a cautionary statement. Basically, it's a legal cover our slide because what it says in all these words is the bottom line is that certain things I'm going to say are going to be forward-looking and therefore may be subject to change. In terms of where we are around the world, many of you might know something about B2Gold. We're a company that was established 13 years ago, starting at zero, put up some of our own money and decided to see if we could replicate our success of B2Gold over some decades in building a profitable, significant gold producer. We have right now 3 mines in production, which everyone's probably aware of. The largest mine, the Fekola mine in Mali, which has been a tremendous success. It's to the point where dramatically increased the resources there since we acquired it 5 years ago from 4 million ounces in resources to almost double that, and we think that will continue to grow. So because of that, we expanded the mine a couple of times and had an extraordinary year of production this year, last year, as I'll detail for you. Very positive looking forward. Also, we have the Masbate mine in the Philippines, which has been a great project for us since we acquired it in 2013. Tremendous team, a successful team at Masbate over the long term. It's a very solid, extremely well-run mine, in a challenging area in the Philippines with population and all the things we deal with. But it's been a great success for us and will continue to be a substantial producer for us for many, many years to come. In addition to that, we have the Otjikoto mine in Namibia, another great success story that we acquired several years ago and built it into a successful mine. And once again, with further exploration success, continue to expand the mine. In addition to that, we've got a couple of development projects in the pipeline that I'll talk about briefly now because I don't have time to go into detail. But the Gramalote project in Colombia is a joint venture between B2Gold and AngloGold Ashanti, a 50-50 joint venture that we've been involved in for some time. January of last year, it was decided that B2Gold would become the operator to utilize our tremendous in-house construction team that has succeeded at all of our projects between Bema and B2Gold, 8 mines over many years, to utilize that team to build Gramalote if it's going to be an economic project. So we've done a lot of work there, a lot of good work with our partner AGA, very supportive government in Colombia, locally and federally. Everyone wants this project to go forward. So we need a positive feasibility study, which we're intending to produce in April this year. That would be followed very quickly by a development decision, potentially with boots on the ground in September to start constructing Gramalote mine. So the Gramalote mine has the potential to produce over 400,000 ounces a year over a good solid mine life, and half of that would be to us. So we're anxious to see the next steps of the feasibility study. After that, we have a project called Kiaka, which we've had for several years. That's a 4 million ounce deposit, and it's quite intriguing. It has some positives to it, but the reason why we haven't built it to date has been at times the lower gold price, but also some of the economics and some of the expensive fuel costs and power generation costs. So things are changing in the world, and they're changing at Kiaka. We've done some internal runs using natural gas and also using solar, as we know solar well, having built our second solar plant recently in Mali and our historic solar plant, a great success at Otjikoto. So we'll be looking at those alternatives, and by the middle of the year, we'll come up with an updated feasibility study on Kiaka, and we'll see if that meets our economic thresholds as well. So those are 2 development projects in the pipeline. I want to touch on exploration a little bit because exploration has been one of the keys to our success, both in Bema Gold and in B2Gold. We started both of those companies as exploration companies. But as we've become a good builder of mines and a great operator of mines, we always maintained our entrepreneurial spirit. And that's the willingness to go anywhere in the world, almost anywhere in the world, looking for quality gold projects. So we've always been driven by geology more than geography. That's one of the reasons why we've succeeded, I think, in so many places in the world, is that having an open mind. So many producers of gold can get quite conservative, but we wanted to maintain our entrepreneurial flair and our entrepreneurial capability to go out and find additional gold mines, not just acquire them. So we have a large budget this year of $66 million for exploration, and some people are going to go, that's one of the larger budgets in the industry. Well, there's a reason for that. The cheapest ounces are the ones you find. And when you look at our success historically on our exploration projects and replacing ounces or increasing reserves at our mines and making new discoveries, I would argue that our financial return on the investment of our exploration dollars is extraordinarily high. So up to 25 million of that 66 million budget is earmarked for grassroots exploration. So the rest of it's brownfields, which means further successful drilling, hopefully, around the Masbate mine, Obviously, tremendous potential around Fekola to make it bigger, and other targets right near Fekola and 20 kilometers to the north. The Anaconda area is a major exploration area. So brownfields around existing mines, and then some of these exciting exploration opportunities like the Anaconda region, but also a project we're very excited about in Uzbekistan and a joint venture with the government exploring around the world's largest gold mine. We think there's tremendous targets and potential there. Also in Finland, we have a very exciting exploration project that's about to start drilling again now. And there's other things in the pipeline that we have yet to finalize or come out with publicly. But at the end of the day, we've been scouring the world for decades looking for high caliber exploration opportunities. So we expect, or hope we'll have continued success in that regard. This is our growth chart. Some of you may have seen before, but it's quite dramatic. As I mentioned, we started B2Gold some 13 years ago, zero production, and we've grown it very rapidly to a 1 million ounce a year producer over that period of time, starting off in Nicaragua with a small production and building it through the construction in Namibia, the Otjikoto mine, building through the acquisition and the dramatic improvement of the Masbate mine in the Philippines, and then ultimately the Fekola mine, which of course has become our largest mine, producing over 600,000 ounces, with very low cost production last year. So we continue to see positive production going forward. We actually think we're estimating for next year. I'll get to the projections on that, but we think there's a good chance we're going to beat that for a couple of reasons. I don't want to put the operations people on the spot, but given our potential access to additional good grade material, especially around Fekola, we think we have a good chance to beat that projection. We are projecting over the next 4 years an average of 950,000 ounces a year, but once again, that doesn't include any of these satellite opportunities at Fekola or some of the other projects such as Gramalote, et cetera, that we may add to the production profile. One of the things we get asked a lot about, which is understandable, is political risk. You know, between Beam and B2Gold, we've been everywhere from Chile to the United States to Russia, South Africa, Nicaragua, Namibia, the Philippines, and Mali. So from Nicaragua on, that's B2Gold. Before that was B2Gold. We've had extraordinary success in going sometimes places without a sphere to tread, always challenging situations, always different. But we've been great at I think, understanding cultures and working well with the people in the countries that we work in. And that's a key part of, I think, our success is our culture. Culture of B2Gold and B2Gold was to treat everyone with fairness, respect, transparency, and be accountable and expect accountability as well. And I think when we look at what's happened recently with COVID and our ability to continue to perform at such a high level, not only in our operating mines, but also in our development projects, our solar plant construction, our exploration, and all the CSR and environmental programs we do, we've been able to hit the mark through COVID, which is a real testament to our extraordinary executive team, I would say, in Vancouver, but also, of course, the management at our mines working so closely together. And also, I think because of our culture, it's very rewarding for us to see that we have great cooperation with all of our stakeholders, the local governments, the federal governments, and the people in the communities in which we work, and the employees. I think we earned their trust over time. So we all had something in common, the employees, the governments, and the company. We wanted to continue gold mining during COVID, as these are critical jobs and critical revenue for these countries that we're in. But we wanted to do that, if we could do it safely. And we clearly demonstrated the ability to do that. But I think that's because we trust each other. I think that we earned the trust of the governments and our employees, and we were able to move together very successfully, very quickly, dealing with COVID differently in each country that we're in. So I really just wanted to shout out to all those people that made that happen. I think it's an extraordinary success in a very challenging time. But that's what we've done for 35 years. We've taken on challenges all over the world. We're very good at problem solving. We're very good at responding to crises, whatever form they may take. Just a couple of numbers for you. We did have a record fourth quarter, 270,000 ounces of gold. In 2020, we had a record full year production of 1,040,000 ounces, another annual record of production. So just a tremendous year and very low cost production as well. We generated revenue of over almost $1.77 billion, and our cash operating costs were very low at $423 an ounce for the year. In addition to that, our all-in sustaining costs for 2020 was $788 an ounce. One, if not the lowest cost senior gold producer in the world in all-in sustaining costs. So as the gold price fluctuates, it's nice to be in a situation with these low costs to weather any lower gold prices and obviously benefit from the gold price, and if it does move back to higher levels, of course. That generated $950 million in cash from operations for us in 2020, and over half of that was free cash flow. In terms of looking forward to 2021, we're estimating somewhere around 1 million ounces a year. Cash operating costs are a little bit higher, 500 to 540 an ounce is the range, and all sustaining costs are a bit higher as well, but still very low when you look at industry averages. So another big year coming up for us, we expect in 2021. So all that's left us in an extremely strong financial position. I mentioned the cash generated from operations, $950 million. That allowed us to reduce our debt, effectively eliminate our debt with the exception of some mining leases and also some office leases, but basically debt-free as we look into the future. But we also were able to pay down our revolving credit facility, so we now have available an undrawn $600 million with a bunch of very good and very happy banks who really supported us over time. And there's another $200 million in an accordion facility on the back of that. So well positioned if we choose to tap into the debt market. Now, looking at that, looking at Gramalote, which would take 2.5 years to build for about $900 million, half of that to us, we could clearly do that based on our current projections. While maintaining our dividend, we could clearly do that from cash from operations, not having to tap into the debt markets and definitely not having to look to the equity markets. The dividend we declared and increased a couple of times already is now at 4 cents a quarter or 16 cents for the year, yielding over 3%, one of the highest yielding dividends in the gold sector. Gold companies aren't famous for their dividends, but that's what we want it to be, a growth company that can also pay a dividend. This is, I think, important to point out, we won 5 significant awards recently, which it's really nice to see the recognition of our tremendous teams that do all of this sustainability work. So the PDAC awarded us with a sustainability award for 2020, and what that award from the process developers is, the award is honored to individual organizations demonstrating outstanding initiative, leadership, accomplishment of protecting and preserving the natural environment and or establishing good community relations during an exploration program or operating a mine. That's our first one. The second award was from the Mining Journal, and this was the Most Sustainable Miner Award. And this was awarded by the Mining Journal to B2Gold. We were selected for this award for being emblematic of the change occurring in the industry worldwide. There's been a lot of companies doing a lot of positive things, so we think that's a great award for us. We appreciate it very much. In addition to that, we were also, the third one in 2020 was the Best Social Enterprise Award, and this was an award by the Philanthropy Association in collaboration with the Ministry in charge of social actions. The award honors companies or individuals who have worked in the field of social development. And the fourth award was in Gramalote. This is an award for our social performance in Gramalote. The award honors the company distinguished themselves in preserving, mitigating, and addressing the social impacts generated by mining projects, as well as the increasing opportunity and benefits to the communities involved. And finally, in Mali, we were recognized by a prestigious organization for our work in the public and private sector organization and training individuals, etc. I want to talk a little bit about the performance in the market today. Obviously, gold's been getting hammered a little bit lately, coming down quite a bit. I want to talk about our performance on what we've been able to do over the last 5 years, and it even goes back very successfully over 10 years. But if you look at this chart, the gold prices in gold, the B2Gold prices in gold, the gold price is in green. The TSX Global Index is gray, and blue is the VanEck Gold Mining Index. So you can see at 328%, we dramatically outperformed the index, and the gold price was up 45%, and the index was up around 70%. So tremendous performance. If you look at the high point here when we hit last year, we were probably up 620% over a 10-year period of time. Finally, this is another one on value creation. If you look back 10 years ago, if you were a patient long-term investor and you bought B2Gold shares 10 years ago, you're up 1,270% on your investment, obviously way outperforming the gold price and the gold index over that period of time. When we were at our highest last year, that was probably 1,600% increase. So obviously the market has been reflective over time of our success, and we hope to continue to grow the company and continue to increase our market cap as we grow the company. Just to wrap all of that up, we're obviously committed to maintaining the highest standards of responsible mining, including our health, safety, environmental stewardship, and corporate responsibility. Our goal is to continue, as we've done so well, to maximize our profitable gold production and increase reserves around our mines, as we've done so well. Always maintain a very strong cash position while maximizing cash flow. Continue to use our cash from operations for growing the company and also paying our significant dividend. And the focus going forward will be on growth, as we've talked about in Gramalote, Kiaka, the development projects, but also some of these high-profile exploration areas such as around Fekola and north of Fekola, and also the opportunities I talked about in some other countries around the world. So we believe we can, looking at our existing opportunities in development and exploration, we believe we can continue to successfully grow the company. We will continue to look at opportunities such as merger opportunities with companies with development projects or even producing companies. But I must say, when I look at the lack of quality projects in the world today, and there's more competition than there was when we were doing our acquisitions when they were quite contrarian, at Otjikoto and Fekola particularly, we are very committed to seeing what's in our pipeline that can add value to our shareholders. If the right deal comes along where we can increase our production to an acquisition, we will effectively look at it. So in closing, I want to thank all of our stakeholders that worked so hard with us. One of the keys to our success, I talked about political risk and how we manage it by delivering on the promises we make in these countries. That's critical. And it's also critical that governments continue to understand in these countries we're in and other countries the importance of gold mining. I think we've had great support in the governments, and we are assured that the governments are going to continue to honor their laws to enable successful gold mining and to attract more foreign investment. I think post-COVID there's going to be a real opportunity because many countries are reflecting, not just with us, but many countries are reflecting the fact that gold mining has been a very important part of their economy, especially through COVID. So I do think we're seeing some countries change their attitude towards foreign investment, and I think that's going to be very positive. So for the industry, I think there's kudos for great performance during the COVID, not just us, many companies, but also great opportunity. I think we've shown again that gold mining can be a very, very profitable, a very safe and secure, and a very positive force in growing the economy of nations around the world. So with that, thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the conference.